Hey there, boils and ghouls. It's your friend Tats. I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be reviewing a Blu-ray, courtesy of Code Red. And I picked this up yesterday on Halloween. And the reason why is because I've seen this movie before and, whoa, yeah, it wasn't really as good as I remember. This was a movie I watched years back. And, but I noticed on Amazon it's out of stock now. And I don't know how long it's going to be when they get it back, but I was in my local record store yesterday and they had it, and I thought, you know what, this could be going out of print pretty quick, so I better go ahead and snag this while I get the chance. And what I ended up getting was the 1982 slasher movie, if you want to call it that. We have Trick or Treats. Now, this movie, I remember watching it a few years back, and just, I don't know, it seemed like it was better. Excuse me, sorry. I remember it was better the first time when I watched it, and watching it a second time, I was like, wow, the movie, real quick review of the movie. The story is about this woman who's, she's a struggling actress, and what's the actress's name? Let's see here. Oh, where is she at? Jacqueline Guiro? I think that's the way you say it. But anyway, so she's a struggling actress, and actually the real life actress was married to Steve Railsback, who has a small role in this movie. Amounts to a little bit more than a cameo, but not by much. Steve Railsback, if you don't know, he is probably the ultimate actor who played Charles Manson in a movie. I believe it was 1976. He did the TV movie Helter Skelter. I believe I reviewed that on Body Bags, and I did it on an old channel. But if you hadn't seen it, the 1976 TV movie of Helter Skelter is amazing. Even if you don't believe everything from the book, I know over the years a lot of people have come out and said that Bugliosi was a bit of a fraud, and he kind of blew the whole thing out of proportion with the whole Helter Skelter theory, and that really what it was that Manson had brainwashed his followers to basically just settle old scores for him, and that's really the long and short of it. But anyway, though, Steve Railsback played Charles Manson in that movie, and he's terrifying in that movie. He is so close. I mean, if you watch video or old footage, interviews with Manson and stuff like that, and Railsback nailed it. Now, a number of actors have played Manson since then. Damon Harriman played him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and the TV show Mindhunter. He did a really good job. Jeremy Davies did a really good job in the TV remake of Helter Skelter a few years back. And just numbers of actors have played him. But I think, for the most part, usually when people think of the definitive actor who played Charles Manson, it was always Steve Railsback. And but anyway, this going back to the story. Sorry, I went off a tangent there. But anyway, the story is this babysitter is this woman. She's a struggling actress, but she works for an agency, and she works as a babysitter. And it's Halloween night, and she's gotten this job that she has to go and babysit this kid, even though like her fiance, her boyfriend, played by Steve Railsback in the movie, is doing a play of Othello. So she would much rather go and see that than spend the evening with him. But she needs the money, it's like she needs to work, so she ends up taking this babysitting job. So she goes to the house, and what was it? Joan, I believe the character? Yeah, Joan, played by Carrie Snodgrass, who actually, it's funny, her and Steve Railsback did the movie Ed Gein together, and in the movie she played Ed Gein's mother. And so it was kind of funny that, they don't share a scene in this, but they share plenty of scenes in Ed Gein. Interesting little low-budget flick if you ever get a chance to see it. And Steve Railsback is appropriately creepy in that movie too, but as Ed Gein. But anyway, so she goes off to babysit this kid. Well, it turns out that a few years earlier, Joan was married to this guy, Malcolm, played by Peter Jason. Now, Peter Jason, he's one of those guys, like, if you watch him for a couple of minutes, you'll recognize him, because this man's been in, like, hundreds of movies, I think, and television appearances. He was, the main thing you're going to remember him from, if you're a fan of John Carpenter movies, you're going to remember him from a lot of John Carpenter films. He's been in so many of his movies: In the Mouth of Madness, Escape from L.A., Body Bags, Village of the Damned, on and on and on. He's been in so many of Ghosts of Mars. He's been in so many of John Carpenter's movies, and he's a really good actor. And it's kind of mean though. Here on the back of the cover, it says Halloween, but with a meatloaf-looking dude in drag. It's like that's not too far. I mean, he does. It's kind of like watching it again and kind of looking at Peter Jason. The way he looked, the way his hair looked, and everything. It's like, yeah, he does have a little bit of a meatloaf look to him. So yeah, you kind of get where they're going with this. But anyway, so Joan was married to this man Malcolm, and she has him committed to an insane asylum. And he goes kicking and screaming. He's not happy about it, but he gets put in this insane asylum. Well, so as luck would have it, so the night she goes to babysit this kid, Malcolm breaks out of his insane asylum, and he goes, he steals a nurse's outfit, steals her wig. It turns out the nurse is wearing a wig, which I don't know why. If you see the nurse without the wig, she looks a lot better without it than she does with it. But steals her wig, steals her dress, and so he's making his way back. It's definitely got like a Michael Myers kind of a Halloween thing going on, where the killer trying to get back home and take revenge and all this kind of stuff. But so in the meanwhile, you have she's babysitting this kid Chris, and now the kid Chris was actually played by Chris Garver, who's the son of the director Gary Garver. And Gary Garver pretty much did just about everything on this movie. He, wrote it, directed it, photographed it, probably did the catering too. Who knows? But anyway, so so she goes and she's babysitting this kid, and it turns out this kid, not 10 seconds after you see this kid, you're gonna want to kill him. This kid is such a little brat, and he's constantly he's very much into Houdini and magic tricks and stuff. And it's interesting, it even says here on the back cover that Orson Welles, who is a big fan of magic and magic tricks and stuff, he was like the consultant on the movie on how to do the magic tricks and do them properly. So she goes to the house and she's going to babysit this kid. Now, Joan is remarried to this guy. Does it say the character's name on here? I'm sorry, but let's see here. No, it just says her boyfriend, played by David Carradine, and David Carradine's right there on the back. Here goes. David Carradine, of course, you remember from Kung Fu and Kill Bill, The Long Riders, and movies upon movies and TV shows. Man had a huge, varied career, and he's in it for a couple of minutes, and he's appropriately sleazy. I mean, as soon as Linda walks in the house, as soon as he sees her, he's like trying to hit on her and flirt with her. She's wearing this kind of like jumper suit type of thing. I guess it's like a uniform for the agency she works at, and so he's like trying to get close to her. He even manages to unzip her zipper there at one point and everything. So he's like trying to hit on her, and he gets busted. But Joan and her boyfriend, they go off. They're going to a magic party in Vegas, and so they want Linda to babysit the Chris while they're gone. So she goes and she's babysitting, and this kid is just mercilessly, every other minute, this kid is mercilessly taunting her and playing tricks on her and trying to fool her and wearing costumes to scare her and everything. And that's a big part of the problem with this movie, folks, is that this movie really doesn't get going till almost an hour in. Because pretty much the whole movie, I understand, some movies are a slow burn, but oh my God. The first hour of this movie is just this kid constantly taunting Linda with these jokes and practical jokes and pranks and magic tricks and costumes and things like this, constantly jumping out, trying to scare her and stuff like that. And you got that mixed with Malcolm, his breakout in the insane asylum and trying to get back home. At one point, he comes across Paul Bartel and steals his, Paul Bartel's like playing a street bum. He's just got a cameo in this movie. But he steals Paul Bartel's, street clothes and everything, and he's able to make his way home. And, so it's like almost the first hour of the movie is this whole thing. And then this movie definitely has some technical issues with it, and it has some storyline issues with it. At one point, a friend of Linda's, who's working on a movie and edits a movie, and she does like a videotape edit where she inserts a scene that Linda did and inserts it into a movie that they were working on. And so she comes by to try to deliver this tape to Linda. Well, Linda's busy dealing with Chris and all this kind of stuff that's going on. Not to mention, too, the fact that, there's a good portion of the movie in the second act where Malcolm just keeps stopping at phone booths to call the house, and every time Linda answers it, he doesn't say anything at first, and then finally he's just, I'm coming home, honey, I'm coming home, and all this kind of stuff. I know it's meant to be scary, but it's kind of like, okay, stop calling and saying you're going to go home, and then just go home, you know. But oh man. So yeah, about the first hour of this movie is all build up and stuff, and it doesn't really get going till almost an hour in. So that's kind of a problem. You know, this movie is a little bit of a slog to get through. But you know, when Malcolm does get home and he's looking around, seeing like what she did with his belongings, and you know how the house looks now and all this other kind of stuff, then he decides, you know, he wants. I mean, the whole reason there, he wants to kill Joan, and it's interesting because this friend of hers, she comes in the house. He ends up killing her, and he's like, "Wait a minute, you're not Joan. You're not my wife. You're not Joan." But he kills her anyway. And then at one point, Chris keeps playing all these tricks on Linda that she ends up taking one of his mother's nightgowns and puts them on, you know, just because she needs something to wear. Because her clothes get soaked, she jumps in a pool to try to save Chris and everything. Another one of his pranks. But so she's wearing the nightgown, and so he just assumes she doesn't even have the same hair color or anything like that. He just assumes that she's Joan. But the thing is like, you know, when he gets a good look at her, and he sees she's clearly not Joan. She's clearly not his wife, but he's still trying to kill her anyway. It makes no sense. But so yeah, so this movie has some, you know, storytelling flaws to it. But also too, another problem with this movie is just that you're definitely gonna see some technical flaws in this movie. Like one part of the movie around the beginning is when Joan goes in to tell Chris that her and her boyfriend, they're getting ready to go off on their trip and stuff like that. And at one point you can see like the voice sync for Chris is completely off. You know, I mean, way off. You're going to notice that. It'll definitely jump out at you because words are coming out, but his mouth isn't moving. And then when his mouth finally does start moving, it's a little late. So yeah, this movie definitely has some technical flaws to it. But anyway, but it's amazing though, you know, for a movie like this, you have a really good cast in it. You got David Carradine, Steve Railsback, Carrie Snodgrass, Peter Jason, Paul Bartel. You know, you have a number of actors, quality talent in this film. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and grab this, and even though it's like wasn't maybe as great as I remembered it, but still pick this up, and you do get some bonus features on here. And what you have, fun Blu-ray extras, high def master from the original 35mm negative. Now the picture quality does look pretty good. I think not going to really knock you out of your chair, but at the same time, I imagine it's probably about the best you're going to get out of this. You know, I'm sure Code Red did the best job they could. Sound-wise, not too bad. You know, does it say on here? No, it doesn't really say what they use for sound. But anyway, audio commentary with stars Jackie Guerreau, Peter Jason, Chris Graver, cameraman Michael Stringer, moderated by Sean Graver. Audio interview with actor Steve Railsback. Watch in Katarina's bucket list mode. Now, it's Katarina's bucket list mode is kind of a similar, almost like a Elvira kind of a thing, you know. So if you want to watch the movie, but at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie, you got an intro and an outro with a very lovely looking lady, you know, with a nice sexy accent. If you're interested in watching the movie that way, that's a fun way to watch it. That's how I watched it the second time. So that was kind of fun. But although, just like I said, yeah, just this movie's not going to really blow you away. It's not going to, you know, it's definitely not going to replace Halloween for you or anything like that. But you know, still, so it's pretty basic. And but I would say, yeah, if you're interested in checking out this movie, or you are a fan of this movie, if you can find it, you better get it, because I think this thing's already pretty much going out of print. The last time I checked on Amazon, which was just a little while ago, it's listed as out of stock. So I don't know, they might get more in, but I don't know if they just did a limited run of this. So, you know, if you come across it, you might want to snag it when and where you can. There's the back. You get to see David Carradine there. There's Linda with Chris, Peter Jason there, Carrie Snodgrass right there. So, yep. And let's see. Unfortunately, no reversible inside artwork. So, I mean, very, very basic and stuff. So, turn that around so you can see the disc. Disc is pretty much the same as the cover, so not much there, but you know, and it's not that high, you know. I mean, if you can find it, I mean, this was $20, so yeah, so it's not bad for the price or anything like that. But just, I would say go ahead and, you know, if you're a fan of this movie and you really want to get your hands on it, go ahead. If you're not a fan of this movie, but you still want to check it out, I would say if you can find it, and especially for a good price, you better snag it because it seems like this one's going fast. So, but anyway, yeah. I mean, if nothing else, just watch it for Katarina's bucket list. So at least you get to see, lovely lady at the beginning, you know, doing an intro and an outro of the movie. So at least you get that. But yeah, just like I said, just the movie just kind of really didn't knock me out of my shoes. It was just kind of like a, I mean, the whole first out, pretty much, yeah, the first whole hour of the movie is build up, and then it doesn't really like pick up and really get going until like about the last half hour of the movie. But anyway, so yeah, and with this, not to brag, but just with this, now I have 4 movies, a total of 4 movies now with the title Trick or Treat. Well, this one's Trick or Treats, but I think it still counts. I have this one. I have the awesome horror anthology Halloween film Trick or Treat. I have the on DVD. I have the heavy metal, 1986 movie with Gene. I know it says starring Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne, but really they just have a cameo in the movie. But the heavy metal Sammy Kerr horror film, if you're familiar with that one, really good, fun, cheesy '80s horror movie with great music by Fastway. So if you ever get a chance, check that one out if you haven't seen it. And then I got the British one, Trick or Treat, which was I reviewed that on the Body Bags channel just here a few weeks ago, and that one was way more of like a British kind of crime gangster thriller, which just happens to take place on Halloween. Not much of a horror film, to be honest with you, but. So anyway, that's it. I think I've definitely rambled on long enough. Yeah, this video is running kind of long. I didn't mean to do that. But anyway, if anybody took the time to watch this, I really do thank you for watching it, and I really do appreciate you for watching it. I honestly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a like, and if you haven't already, go and subscribe to the channel. Definitely plan to keep doing more reviews and hopefully, get some new releases when they come out so I can kind of, I don't have to sit there and keep waiting so long. I'm trying my best, but anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate it. So, everybody, take care. Have a good night, my boils and ghouls. I'll talk to you later.